Welcome to Max Hockey Talk. Today I have a very special guest from Sarnia, Ontario, Jason Simon, who had a very different childhood growing up. He grew up in the reserve. Jason played 17 years pro, and he's still playing today. The only difference today is we actually pay to play instead of getting paid to play. That is the adjustment we all make. So, Jason, what was it like growing up in the reserve? Was there a lot of opportunities there to play hockey?
Dave, thanks for having me today. Tough situation growing up on reserve. There's a lot of alcoholism, drugs. Hockey was a way for me to get away from, the drugs and alcohol, stay away from it. We really didn't have a lot of money for equipment and ice time, but somehow my parents.
Did you have your own arenas on the reserve, or did you travel to the local towns like everybody else do?
Well, I grew up on the reserve, was just outside of Sarnia, so I traveled into Sarnia, which was about 15 minutes to play. I started out in minor league, house league.
Okay, so you just joined in with the local towns and had the melting pot with everybody else.
I was lucky that the white people would let me come and skate with them.
That's good. We'd had a chat earlier, and you mentioned you got bullied a lot. Was that on the reserve? Was that on the rinks? Did that have any way of turning you into more of a enforcer the way you did play the game?
Well, it's funny. It's a good question that you ask. I grew up on the reserve, but I was half Irish and half Native, so I was kind of torn between two worlds. The natives, they like to pick on me because I was half white, and the white guys like to pick on me because I was half Indian. So it was tough. I kind of didn't know which way my flag would, where it flew on each day. Sometimes I'd hang out with a certain group, which might be the natives or the white guys. So I always kind of had to walk a fine line there.
So when you were playing with your friends in the reserve, did you have some guys that knew you could play and were very a good influence on you to push you a little bit more to get out and play the game, to maybe make another career out of the game?
Well, I think when we played ball hockey after school each day, it was a great way for us for me to get to know them, and on a different level than them, running the gang. It was a way where we all played together, we had fun.
So that you say that maybe helped develop your skills to maybe get to the next level of
definitely
junior hockey?
Especially my hands, working with the ball and running.
And that worked out pretty good for the...
Not so much.
So after, I know you went on and you played your minor hockey, played some junior hockey. You were very fortunate, one out of that actually lived on the reserve that made it to the NHL. You were drafted by New Jersey.
Yes.
Now, it took you a lot of years to, I don't know if you consider 3 or 4 years, to actually get into your first game. Did you find the time there that you were frustrated, or did you look back in your childhood and said, I got out of the reserve to do this, I played the minors, now I got a chance, I'm going to make it to the NHL?
Yes, it was tough for sure, but as growing up, and I knew that hockey was my only way off the reserve. It was my only way in life to really establish who Jason Simon could be, and wanted to be. It was a tough role.
So did you have that, to keep that dream alive, there was something that kept motivating you in the NHL, or whether you were on the reserve trying to move up, in the NHL trying to move, or the minors trying to get to the NHL?
Well, I always like to put it this way, Dave. If I never would have tried to make the NHL, if I never would have made it, I would have probably went through the rest of my life wondering, if I ever made it? Where did I go wrong, and what did I do wrong? So I knew it's something that I had to do for a peace of mind.
Right. Now, careers all come to an end eventually. You've made the adjustment. Do you give back a lot into the kids in the reserve to see and maybe push them and give them that moral support that they all have a chance to succeed in life?
One of the things I always thought about when I was growing up is I never had a mentor, somebody that would show me the way, train properly, eat properly, what to do, what not to do. So I always felt that it was part of me to, after I was done hockey, to give back, especially to the Native community.
That's great to hear, Jason. I appreciate your time and taking the busy schedule you have out to do this interview, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Dave, thanks for having me. And I heard it was your birthday today. I want to say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
35.